Good evening, folks. We're going to call the meeting to order right now, Town Council meeting for February 25th. And first thing up on the agenda is a public hearing. The public hearing is to receive comments on Ordinance 2501 to annex 0.52 acres located at 6375 St. Andrews Road, Lexington County, TMS 002799-06-001, and to rezone said property from C1 Neighborhood Commercial, that's Lexington County's zoning, to CG General Commercial via the Town of Irmo zoning. Are there anyone that wants to speak on this subject? Hearing none, seeing none, we close the public hearing. And we will now call to order the official meeting. With that, we'll do our Pledge of Allegiance, if you would, please. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. You bow your heads, please. Dear Lord, please guide us in our decision-making tonight, that we will do the best for the town. And also, Lord, please guide all of those who are above us in political, state, and federal governmental positions and elected officials, so that they too make the correct decisions. And if not, please allow us to work in harmony, to work together, to solve the country and the city and the states and this town's issues. And please pray for us and keep us in your soul and keep us in your mind. And to you we pray. Thank you. Okay. We're going to go to the approval of the agenda. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Having been appropriately motioned, is there further discussion on the agenda? Hearing none, seeing none, I'll call for a vote. Actually, I'll just approve it. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Any nays? All right, the ayes have it. Reading of the minutes from January 28th, 2025. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Having been appropriately motioned, any other discussion, changes? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it. How about the February 11th, 2025 meeting minutes? Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Having been appropriately motioned, are there any further discussions, comments, changes? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it. Report of standing. Administrative briefing. Courtney, what do you have for us tonight?
Mr. Mayor and Council, I just have a few updates to my administrative briefing. The events committee, they met on February 13th and conducted an after-action review of the Irmo Chili Cook-Off. Chairman Frazier is here tonight to give you a more elaborate update to that and even present a check to McGregor Church. They also discussed the 2025 Irmo Christmas Parade, that you'll take up some action on that tonight. And then some final staff notes. The Irmo concert series, we did open up the ticket sales today. There are 3 concerts scheduled for April 25th, May 2nd, and May 9th. So if you go to irmoamp.com, you can register and purchase your tickets for that concert series. And we'll have a bigger update for that at the next council meeting. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Mayor Pro Tem, new in town businesses?
Yes, Mr. Mayor. New in town businesses: Mora Wellness, Club Fitness, Cope with Janelle, Hutto Seafood and Wings, Oceanic Counseling Group, Palmetto Bone and Joint, TC and Company, and the boat butlers. Welcome to town.
Appreciate that. All right, next up is consideration of communications. Is there anybody here tonight from bleeding disorders? Yes. So you are here, okay, perfect. I thought that was you with the red, I thought that was you, thank you so much. Okay, so, counsel, would you meet me down front? Yes, sir. As you know, there are a lot of things we do in town, and a lot of it is to do with goodwill and recognizing great things in this town through proclamations. And tonight we have a few of them, which the only downside is I have to read them all. But I'm honored to do that, and I may have someone else read one. But is Miss Ashley here? I know you're here. Would you like to come up to the front? Got some family with you that can help? Did you put this up? This was your... How are you? It's a pleasure to see you. Okay, that's fine. Pleasure to see you. Thank you.
Y'all come this way. I can read it for you. I'm serious.
This, ladies and gentlemen, Miss Ashley's 100 years old, and that's why we're here.
Proclamation honoring Elizabeth Ashley on her 100th birthday. Whereas the town of Irmo proudly joins the family and friends of Elizabeth Ashley in celebrating her remarkable milestone of 100 years of life, and whereas Elizabeth Ashley was born on March 5th, 1925 in Hampton, Virginia, and has called Irmo home since August 2006, enriching the Friarsgate community with her presence, wisdom, and kindness, and whereas during World War II, Elizabeth Ashley exemplified the resilience and dedication of American women by working at Siegel Lock Company in Norwalk, Connecticut, a factory that contributed to national security by producing padlocks and security hardware for the U.S. Navy. And whereas Elizabeth Ashley has devoted her life to the care and well-being of others, serving as a compassionate foster parent to approximately 66 children over 25 years, providing them with a nurturing home and unwavering support. And whereas she further demonstrated her caregiver spirit through her work in nursing homes and private patient care for over 2 decades, assisting those in need, including individuals requiring specialized attention. And whereas Elizabeth Ashley's generosity and benevolence have extended to charitable giving, consistently supporting organizations such as the March of Dimes, St. Jude Children's Research Hospital, and the ASPCA, reflecting her deep empathy for both people and animals. And whereas she contributes her longevity to optimism, a joyful spirit, and a lifelong commitment to learning, as evidenced by her passion for reading and solving jigsaw puzzles, keeping her mind active and engaged. And whereas Elizabeth Ashley imparts valuable wisdom to future generations, emphasizing the importance of education, lifelong learning, and the ability to adapt to life's inevitable challenges. And whereas her family and friends, along with the town of Irmo, are honored to celebrate this extraordinary woman on the occasion of her 100th birthday, recognizing her as a pillar of compassion, strength, and wisdom within our community. Now, therefore, be it resolved that he, William Danielson, Mayor of the Town of Irmo, on behalf of the Town Council and the citizens of Irmo, do hereby recognize and honor Elizabeth Ashley on the occasion of her 100th birthday and extend to her the highest regard and best wishes for continued happiness, health, and prosperity. In witness whereof, Mayor Daniel hereunto sets his hand and has caused the seal of the Town of Irmo to be affixed on this 25th day of February 2025.
We are so honored, and what an incredible life, and still more to come.
Yes.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good? Yeah. Ooh, that's what I was
Well, that's why I'm spreading it around. Is anybody here from the Irmo High School football team? Not tonight, okay. Didn't
No,
see
he
it.
raised his hand.
Where is it from?
We saw a couple of hands raised. This young man.
Okay, okay, come on down. Come on down. You want this? Sure. Here.
Yeah, come on.
Come on this way, sweetie.
You need to be in the picture.
Yes.
Yeah, you guys come on over this way.
Where you going,
Yeah,
Coach?
come on. Oh,
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
come on here.
Thank you. Thank you for being here.
Good to see you. Come, you mind stepping over this way?
How you doing, sir?
Get in the center.
Yeah, right here is fine. That's fine. Proclamation
Missed you when you were out.
honoring the Irmo High School football team for their remarkable achievement in competing in the 2024 Class 5A Division II State Championship. Whereas, the Irmo High School Yellow Jackets football team has demonstrated exceptional skill, dedication, and teamwork throughout the 2024 season, culminating in their participation in the Class 5A Division II State Championship. And whereas, under the visionary leadership of Coach Aaron Brand, who has worked tirelessly over 6 years to bring the Yellow Jackets to prominence, the team has achieved remarkable success, including an undefeated regular season in 2023 and their first state championship appearance since 2007. And whereas, the Yellow Jackets, led by senior cornerback A.J. Brand, showcased their resilience and determination in the championship game, engaging in a hard-fought battle against Northwestern, exemplified by a thrilling fourth quarter that saw both teams combine for 31 points. And whereas A.J. Brand, the South Carolina Gatorade Player of the Year and a Virginia Tech signee, delivered a stellar performance in his final high school game, accounting for 4 touchdowns and amassing 319 total yards, supported by standout performances from Donovan Murph, who caught 2 touchdown passes, and the entire Yellow Jackets roster. And whereas, the Yellow Jackets' unwavering spirit and sportsmanship, even in the face of a narrow 34-31 loss, have brought immense pride and inspiration to the Irmo community, reflecting the values of perseverance, camaraderie, and excellence. And whereas, the achievements of the Irmo High School football team have reignited community pride and underscored the commitment of Irmo High School to fostering athletic and academic success. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the town of Irmo does hereby recognize and commend the Irmo High School football team, Coach Aaron Brand, and the coaching staff for their outstanding 2024 season, their dedication to excellence, and their inspiring journey to Class 5A Division II State Championship. Be it further resolved that the town of Irmo extends its heartfelt congratulations to the players, coaches, families, and supporters who have made this season memorable and impactful for our community. A witness thereof, he, Bill Danielson, Mayor of the town of Irmo, does hereby set his hand and cause the seal of the town to be affixed this 25th day of February 2025.
coach doesn't. I already got that vibe.
No, we are very thankful for everyone's support this season. It was one that we most certainly expected, so it was good to see it play out the way it did. We owe Northwestern one, so we will see you same time, same place, December of this year. So it is, one of the things that we love most at Irmo is to see folks always excited, always ready to participate. We've got parents, aunts, uncles, cousins who show up not only for our team, but for our entire school. So if there's one thing that we believe about Irmo is that we believe in ourselves, and we thank you all for believing in us and continuing to support us.
Absolutely. Thank you very much. Okay, next one up, Cherry Blossom Day. Come on down. Here is our proclamation for Cherry Blossom Day, which is a great festival that we're having on Saturday, March 22nd. Whereas Irmo is the home of the annual Irmo Cherry Blossom Festival, which is now in its 8th year. Whereas the cherry tree produces fragrant clusters of delicate flowers that bless us with their beauty for only a short period of time each spring. And whereas the grace and transience of the blossoms remind us of the beauty and the brevity of life. And whereas the blooming of the cherry trees bring joy, remembrance, and hope to us all. And now, therefore, I, William O. Danielson, Mayor of the Town of Irmo, do hereby proclaim Saturday, March 22nd, 2025, as Cherry Blossom Day in the Town of Irmo. And I urge all citizens to celebrate Cherry Blossom Day throughout the Town of Irmo. And further, I encourage all residents and guests to visit the Irmo Town Park and witness the beautiful spectacle provided by our blooming cherry trees and to celebrate life during our Irmo Cherry Blossom Festival. In witness thereof, I hereby set my hand this 25th day of February 2025. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Like to say a word?
Well, the trees do most of the work.
Right. Well, they do, but we have to circle around and celebrate them, right?
Yeah,
What's the
I've got,
timing?
the timing's dead on. The
Okay.
buds were very tight during that last frost and freeze, so they were cold hardy at that point. They're developing nicely and are right on schedule for the 22nd.
We look forward to it. It'll be a beautiful thing.
I hope everybody can come.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, Bleeding Disorders Awareness Month. Would you come on down? I'm good. Okay, we do this annually, and I would like to read this declaration of March as Bleeding Disorders Awareness Month, and this is the proclamation. Whereas I, William O. Danielson, Mayor of the Town of Irmo, am proud to commemorate March 2025 as Bleeding Disorder Awareness Month in the Town of Irmo. And whereas this Awareness Month in the Town of Irmo will generate greater awareness and understanding of not only hemophilia, but all inheritable bleeding disorders, including von Willebrand disease and rare bleeding disorders, which affect millions of individuals around the world. And whereas this Awareness Month will bring light to the great scientific achievements in the treatment of bleeding disorders, for which there is no cure, and the greater pursuit of advanced therapies and cures to these disorders. And whereas the Awareness Month will elevate awareness of and engagement in the inheritable bleeding disorders journey beyond our community to the general public, enabling the prevention of illness, unnecessary procedures, and disability. Now, therefore, I, William O. Danielson, Mayor of the Town of Irmo, do hereby proclaim the month of March 2025 as Bleeding Disorders Awareness Month in the Town of Irmo. In witness thereof, I have hereunto set my hand this 25th day of February 2025.
Oh, yes, sir. Thank
sorry, I didn't shake your hand.
You're welcome, that's fine.
Thank you. My name is Marilyn Keith, and my husband Ward has hemophilia, a bleeding disorder. And basically what it is that his blood does not form a proper clot. And so it requires him to have a medication called factor product. And that medication enables them to live a healthy life. However, it's very expensive. It's not found at your Walgreens or your CVS or your any other just private pharmacy. It is specialized medication that only comes through a specialty pharmacy. So we just want people to be aware that bulimia disorders do exist and there is treatment, but we always need to have more awareness. So we want to just thank you guys, the town of Irmo, Mayor Danielson, for this proclamation so we can have more awareness.
Thank you.
sir.
Thank you very much.
We wasn't here today because he's not feeling well.
I didn't think so. Okay, we'll
Thank
give him our love and prayers.
Thank you so much.
Thank
I
you so
appreciate
much.
that.
Okay. Last but certainly not least. Kimberly, will you come on down? Ladies and gentlemen, this is Kimberly Wynn. Kimberly has been being awarded the Small Business of the Month, and I will read the plaque. Presented to Artistic Aspirations in recognition of being the Small Business of the Month for the town of Irmo, February 2025. Well, that was a short one. The floor is yours.
I want to thank everybody. It really makes me humbled and honored to be here. I opened up a year ago, April 4th, and my hopes is to be the community art store for all of Irmo. And if you need to come in and learn about something in art, if you need to just come and explore the artists on the wall, I want to be there for artists and the people who aspire to be artists. So if you guys ever want to come down, I'm just 2 doors down from Irmo Lock and Key, right down the road here, and I would love to have you guys come take a look at and look at all the artists that are there, because all the people on the wall are people from our community, and that's what I want to do, is make sure the community is honored with beauty.
Good job.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
I think Dave took a point of personal privilege.
We will in a minute if he keeps it up. Okay, thank you, folks. Continuing with a lot of the fun stuff, and it just reminds us things like this about the power of this community and the things that we are so fortunate to have, Miss Ashley and all of this. I mean, we celebrate this all the time, and this is a privilege to do it. We are privileged as a council to do all of this. Okay, next thing up, update from the events committee on the chili cook-off. George, Mr. Frazier, will you come on down?
Good evening.
Good evening.
Y'all just went back up there, that's good. I'm gonna get your steps in tonight. Then a few you gonna come back down. All right. The Mayor and Council, I just wanna give you a brief update on the chili cook-off, which was held January the 25th, 2025. Those that didn't show up, shame on you. Maybe next year. Some of the things that we got from the chili cook-off this year, it was kind of small in numbers, and a lot of people like that small town feel when it comes to chili cook-off. But moving forward, I think we're going to continue to get more people to actually compete. Because this year we kind of switched it up and did something different. We did our Commander's Cup, which the first responders, Irmo, Police Department, Irmo Fire Department actually competed for that trophy. and Irmo and Chief Dale, their team actually won it this year. So when I told him, let him know he's on notice, he has to defend that each year. So he has to keep that same energy year after year. Okay, Chief?
Gotcha.
All right. Like I said, we had 7 cookers, and this year, this event, we partnered up with McGregor Presbyterian Church. For those that don't know, they have a snack pack program for kids, and we actually partnered up with these guys last year as well. And so here tonight, not only this brief update, but I also have a check that I want to present to McGregor Presbyterian. And I think we have some people from McGregor. If you don't mind, come on down and counsel. Let's get these steps in.
Sorry that you had to come back down.
We need the exercise.
You need the exercise.
Get your steps. Good to see you. Thank you for your service. Thank you.
I'm already getting threatened by going up and down the steps. All right, so this is a check for $1,526.46. For those that didn't know, McGregor, they had the potteries. They actually did the pottery for this year chili cook-off. It was wonderful. It was amazing. Our last events meeting, after profits and everything, we had $362 and what is it, Courtney?
$363.47.
Left over. So what, as a committee, we decided to give all the proceeds to McGregor Presbyterian and the snack pack program.
Thank you so much.
So I want to present this check to you guys. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
All right.
If I may,
Absolutely.
thank you for participating, but I want you to know that the artists come from Irmo, they come from Columbia, and they donated a number of pottery, pieces of pottery to be sold, and the proceeds were going to McGregor Presbyterian for the snack pack program. And I hope that you know that we're feeding children on the weekends when kids don't have any food. So thank you.
Yes, these are all children from District 5. We support 5 different schools, approximately 140 bags a week. So this means a lot. This is food for your children. So thank you.
Good job. Not that it matters, but my wife and I have matching cereal bowls. Mine is just a little bigger than hers, so thank you so much. Beautiful.
Come next week
Appreciate
and
it.
get a couple more.
Absolutely. I can only eat so much cereal. Thank you all. It was a great event, beautiful weather. It was nice and chilly for Chile. Thank you, George, and to the events committee. Thank you very much. All right, next up, the school showcase. Councilwoman?
Tonight for our school showcase, we will have the Young Men United from Irmo High School International School for the Arts. The presentation will be given by Mr. Jordan Harris and Mr. Matthew Blocker.
Good evening, Irmo Town Hall. My name is Jordan Harris, and we appreciate you guys for having us tonight. I'm a junior at Irmo High, and I aspire to be an HVAC technician in the future.
My name is Matthew Blocker. I'm a senior at Irmo High School. And this fall, I will be attending Newberry College, where I plan to major in criminal justice while playing football.
We're gathered in front of you guys today to talk about Young Men United, or YMU. It was an evidence-informed program that was based here in Columbia about 3 years ago, and thankfully to the Mungo Foundation's gracious donation, it was able to add Irmo to the program.
Young Men United shows boys what it's like to be men and takes them through that journey of transformation. We're very honored to be here because not many kids get this opportunity. On top of that, we are put into a brotherhood where we can feel important, nourished, and valued.
While going through this brotherhood, we're able to have different experiences as well as go on different activities like workplace tours and college tours where we're able to experience different things like how these workplace and colleges function, the different process that they go through for bringing students in, getting students out, hiring workers, or just really anything that we may have questions about. We're able to go to those workplace volunteers/mentors for.
Young Men United gives each individual student a mentor that they can learn from, and the mentor can also learn from them. It's a positive relationship where they can go out into the community and do things. For example, bowling, hiking, or skating. This is something, again, that not many kids get the opportunities to do and are able to have. While doing this, each individual school gets their own liaison. Our personal liaison is Mr. George Bryan. We know that he cares a lot about us because monthly he goes to each individual student and checks in on them. We need more things like this.
We are able to network with other schools in our district or outside of the district through these development programs. Well, we hold meetings once a month. They're called professional development meetings. We learn different soft skills as well as techniques that will help us that will better help shape us into the men that we want to be in the future in these fields that we aspire to join into.
Young Men United is no longer just a name, it's now a brand. You can't go very far into the community without wondering what it is or how can you help.
With that being said, we charge you guys to help us in Young Men's United as we continue to grow year after year. We charge you guys to help us get more one-week internship job shadowing experiences as well as summer internships for our students to grow and prosper in these fields.
Thank you.
Thank you. Chief, I don't want to put you on the spot, but you know this guy going in criminal justice. You got a problem up there with the fingers? Hands off the keyboard. Let's just chill. As I was saying, Chief, criminal justice major, I think we could do some.
I'll have a job. I'll have a job open waiting.
We need to. Matthew, there's your mentor right there, right? That guy right there. Good job, guys. I was there at the ceremony when Mr. Mungo presented that check, and it's so good to see all the good coming of that. That was something for the foundation and United Way, who's also working with that. So thank you so much. Go ahead, Barb. You were.
Okay. The next item is the community connections. Got several items that are coming up later this week. The first is the Summer Enrichment Camp Expo on Thursday, February 27th. It's a drop-in from 6:30 to 8 p.m. at the Crossroads Intermediate School's cafeteria. There'll be lots of different programs there with information for students anywhere from 4K through rising seniors for summer activities and enrichments. You're being asked to register for the event at www.page5advocates.com for planning purposes. Also coming up or finishing up the end of this month is the Irmo's 2025 Black History exhibit. It has been at the Irmo Branch Library all of the month of February, so it'll be there through the 28th. This exhibit shows information about lifelong Irmo residents and projects highlighting the contributions of many of our Irmo citizens. Again, that's at the Irmo Branch Library, and it'll be there until the end of February. Also, until the end of February, the Free Fridays at the Riverbank Zoo and Gardens is still in effect. So if you are a resident of Richland or Lexington County, you can enter the zoo for free on Friday this week. So you got one more Friday to take advantage of that offer. Pet grooming at the Center for Advanced Technical Studies is being offered. Several dates are available, starting with Friday the 28th. There's several dates in March, April, and May, where you can bring your pet, your dog, and get basic grooming, standard grooming, or deluxe grooming. This is a program that supports the students at the Center for Advanced Technical Studies. You can contact them at groomingatthecenter@gmail.com. Future STEM Heroes Fair will take place on March 1st from 1 to 5 p.m. This will be held on the USC campus in the Jones Physical Sciences Center. This is a free hands-on STEM activity day for 1st through 5th graders. This activity is being organized by several graduate student associations, the Graduate Student Association for Brain Awareness, for Physics and Astronomy, Pharmacy, Earth, Ocean, and Environmental Sciences, and Biological Sciences. Mary's Mobile Market has posted their schedule of market dates for this spring and fall, and I just wanted to include this in the community connection so you can see all the dates coming up for Mary's Mobile Market. Most of these events will be held in Moore Park. Some of them will be at Loveland Coffee. And again, this is March through June and then September through December. And as you heard earlier, the Irmo Cherry Blossom Festival will take place on Saturday, March 22nd from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. in the Irmo Town Park, and that's the park directly across the street from this building. On March 28th and 29th, there will be a Border Series skate event, which is sponsored by Palmetto Citizens. This is a national skateboarding event and skills contest series. It will be held in the Friarsgate Skate Park, which is at Rawls Creek Park, 1113 Friarsgate Boulevard. And again, that's Friday, March 28th and Saturday, March 29th. And finally, we have the District 5 Foundation's Spring Fest on Saturday, April 5th from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. at Dutch Fork High School in the football stadium. There will be music and games, food trucks. The school staff are putting together a kickball tournament, so there'll be a lot of activities going on. The proceeds from this Spring Fest event will support District 5 students and schools through the Snack Pack program and other initiatives. And that concludes my community connections for tonight.
Thank you, Counselor. Can we go back to that video, Danya?
I am ready.
Okay, so we're now going to run this video about the Young Men's United. I believe that's what we have here, and it'll speak for itself.
As we gather today, we celebrate the expansion of the United Way Village Young Men United program to include Irmo High School. We do so with the context that this week is dedicated to education, recognizing and appreciating all educators, not only in our school, and in Queens, but across the country as we celebrate community education.
See, Young Men United is a new workforce development initiative in partnership with Only Life, targeting young men of color in 10th and 11th grades with mentorship, paid internships, and professional engagement to help these men reach their educational and career goals. At its core, it is a comprehensive initiative designed to address the unique challenges faced by these young men. Central to the success of Young Men United is the emphasis on mentorship and guidance. We believe that having a supportive mentor can make a profound difference in a young man's life. Our mentors serve as role models, helping these young men build character and, most importantly, resilience.
The opportunities, the doors that are being opened, you know, I really feel like this is really and truly a blessing. Not just a check. Granted, the check is warmly accepted. We're extremely grateful for it. But just the people who are coming together to uplift this organization that he just thought about and he put together for us, that's the real blessing. The check, the money, you know, that's all good. That comes after. But just the people who came to help us and put us in the right situation, that's the real blessing.
You know, when you see those young men in those shirts, on the back there's a quote, and it says, "In ourselves our future lies." And that's what this program is about. It's about helping empowering these students to live out the future dreams that not only they have for themselves, but we as a community have for them. And so with the support of the United Way of the Midlands, the Michael J. Mungo Foundation, we're able to remove barriers so that they can maximize their potential.
Like I said, just extremely grateful for these opportunities, extremely grateful. And just seeing all these people come out to congratulate us and celebrate us, it really warms my heart.
Good job. Okay, next up will be the resident communications. Mayor Pro Tem.
Thank you, Mayor. The two big items that I wanted to surface today from resident communications. First was the ongoing Lumos install, fiber install, as they go through neighborhoods and dig up and lay fiber lines. Specifically, as we've been concerned about having water lines get busted and having neighborhoods thrown kind of into chaos. The most recent install that they did was actually in my neck of the woods, and I gotta tell you, residents were very concerned and angry before it started happening, but nothing but positive things to say in terms of how they treated residents' yards. And it was really nice to see positive feedback on Facebook about the work that we've been doing, and particularly you, Mayor, and Town Administrator, on holding their feet to the fire to make sure that they treat town residents properly. The other item is just to resurface, and a lot of people are talking about, the Links to Lake Murray survey. We've all seen the signs driving around town. If you haven't filled out that survey yet, certainly as a town and as a councilman, I encourage you to do that. If you filled out the survey already, there is some additional content where you can look at a map and drop pins and express yourself in additional ways. Even if you think a number of people have already given feedback that aligns with your views, please also provide your view as well. The more the better. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Unfinished business. Next item up. Second and final reading.
Mr. Mayor, you have a presentation by citizens.
Oh, I'm sorry, I skipped presentation to citizens. Sorry. There's nobody on the list, that's why I skipped it. Anybody have anything to say? Agenda items only. Yep, okay. Nicole.
My name is Nicole Sanchez. I live at 1236 Old Rickyard Road. Thank you for allowing me to speak tonight. I am the president of Better Ballots SC, and I am speaking in favor of the resolution in support of instant runoff voting. First, let me start off by reminding the council and audience tonight that this vote does not change the system. Its goal is to show support for a method being considered by the legislature. This vote is not about changing how Irmo runs its elections. It's about freedom and offering municipalities the option of changing how they conduct elections. Not every town works like Irmo. Some require 50% plus one, or a majority of votes. Columbia requires majorities, and their elections frequently result in the need for costly runoff elections that have low voter participation. I support instant runoff voting because it is an efficient way to find a majority winner without the cost of holding a runoff election. Some may say that it's confusing, but the voter experience is simple. You simply rank your candidates in the order that you prefer them, as many or as few as you would like. We've been ranking things our whole lives, and the 14 million voters who already use it in this country understand it and want to continue to use it. From Alaska to Maine, Salt Lake City to Arlington, and even South Carolina's own overseas military and absentee voters, Americans are using instant runoff voting and seeing the results. I'm not surprised by their support. In addition to saving time and money, it also reduces polarization and mudslinging. It changes the way that candidates campaign because you need to compete for second and third place votes instead of just speaking to your base. It's more likely to elect officials who want to work together for the betterment of their constituency. Instant runoff voting favors no side of the political spectrum. It favors the voters. Unlike plurality voting that 118 municipalities, including Irmo, currently use, while the system that Irmo uses can result in positive outcomes, and this council is a testament to that fact, the opposite is also likely. Take North Charleston as an example. In 2023, half of their council was elected with less than a majority of votes. In some cases, that meant that 60 or 70% of voters favored someone else, with only a handful of votes separating the first and second place finishers. This is why the option needs to exist. Instant runoff voting is designed to find a majority winner in a crowded field in a single election. It's the best of both worlds. South Carolina deserves a voting system that truly reflects their will. I urge you to vote in favor of Resolution 2504. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Next one up would be Chris.
Mayor, ladies and gentlemen, good evening, and thank you for allowing me a couple minutes to give my 2 cents worth on this conversation.
You got 3. 3 minutes.
We won't get there. I'm Chris Himsel. I'm a retired Army colonel. I am the leader of Veterans for All Voters here in South Carolina. We're a nonpartisan, nonprofit organization fighting for responsible government and accountable politicians through open and competitive elections and returning civility back to our body politic. Sort of to your invocation tonight. Our data shows that open primaries and instant runoff voting are among the most effective means to improve political outcomes at all levels of jurisdictions. Currently, 62 jurisdictions across 24 states, to include 6 states, with South Carolina being one of them, as Nicole mentioned, use instant runoff balloting for our military members overseas and those voting from overseas. Instant runoff voting enables us to get to a majority winner, saves money for the jurisdiction, the voters, and the politicians having to conduct just one simple election. We found that IRV, instant runoff voting, reduces negative politics and increases dialogue among the candidates that produces better governance for all the people. Candidates cannot demonize other candidates' supporters and candidates if they hope to become the other candidate's second choice, and the race becomes focused on plans, policies, and programs, and not on personalities and parties. We find that the officials closest to the people who are responsible for making sure our communities are safe and secure, our schools are funded and safe, our trash is picked up, and our potholes are filled, benefit the most from instant runoff voting. They don't need the stress from negative campaigns. They have to see their neighbors every day. Our current plurality voting method leaves the voter doing what? You're right. Choosing between the lesser of 2 evils. How often do we hear that at election time? Instant runoff voting allows the voter to rank the preference for all of the candidates that best match their goals and aspiration, and not to be focused on a choice between the lesser of 2 evils. Let's let Irmo not have to choose between the 2. Let's let Irmo rank their preference for all candidates. Let's get a majority, let's save some money, return to civil politics. More choice, more voice for the people. Oh, one final thought. How does it feel to be known as the lesser of 2 evils?
Just going to ask you that question. You know you're talking to the lesser of 2 evils.
I think we want to change that, don't we? Thank you very much.
I'm all for no negative politicking, believe me. Thank you, sir. Okay, next up, Mr. Knapp.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you, Council, for letting me speak today. I'm Frank Knapp, President and CEO of the South Carolina Small Business Chamber of Commerce, which I co-founded 25 years ago. I'm also a longtime resident and small business owner just outside the Irmo town limits. And I'm here to support the resolution calling for the state of South Carolina to give towns and municipalities the options to use instant runoff voting for their local elections. However, my message, even more important, is to thank you for putting the interest of the voters first when it comes to local elections. Voters understand that it is better to have elected officials who have the support of a majority of the voters. And voters want to have more selection of candidates for an office so that different points of view can be debated. And voters want more people to vote, not just a small number who might not represent the best interest of the town. And voters want all of this without increasing the cost of holding an election. Instant runoff voting delivers on each of these. And small business owners are nothing more than voters who also support these ideas. Of course, you aren't voting, as Nicole said, you're not voting to adopt instant runoff voting here. The state won't let you make that decision for what's best for Irmo. You are asking the state to simply give you the option to use instant runoff voting and let this council decide what's the best for Irmo. You are voting for local control. And that reason alone is why each of you should be voting for this resolution. We hope that you will do that. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Knapp. Mr. Bowman?
Good afternoon. My name is William Bowman. I'm at 1404 Murrayview Drive in Irmo, South Carolina. First, let me thank the mayor and council for your work and for your efforts. I greatly appreciate it. Many of us citizens do. I would like to express my opposition to Resolution 2504, instant runoff voting. I ask that you not support it. We do not need to adopt any other alternative method to voting. If it's not broke, don't fix it. It serves only to confuse the voting process, and the election cost will increase. This election process is working as it is now just fine, and I would ask again that you not consider the resolution that is stated. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Bowman. Anyone else? Okay. Thank you all. Now we'll move on to unfinished business. Second and final reading of ordinance 25-1 to annex .52 acres located at 6375 St. Andrews Road, Lexington County, TMS 00279906001, and to rezone said property from C1 Neighborhood Commercial, and that's Lexington County, to CG General Commercial, brought to us by the Planning Commission. This will annex Bergen Roofing at the corner of St. Andrews and Carriage Lane. Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Having been appropriately motioned, call for further discussion.
I'm in favor of the motion, and as it relates to our comprehensive plan, based on staff feedback, that zoning type would align with its current use and those around them. And I'd like to welcome them to the town.
Councilman? Any comments? Councilman?
I'm good with it.
Good. All right. With that, I'll call the roll, please. Lisa?
Mr. Penfield?
Yes.
Ms. Coleman?
Yes.
Dr. Waldman?
Yes.
Mr. Sickinger?
Yes.
Mayor Davis?
Yes. Thank you, folks. New business. Item A, approval of Resolution 25-03 to express the intention to be reimbursed with the proceeds of tax-exempt obligations for certain costs associated with a new town hall project. That's brought to us by the staff, and we'll hear a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Having been appropriately motioned, further discussion?
Mr. Mayor, yeah, if you,
Yeah.
go ahead.
Courtney, would you, Mr. Rhodes here?
There's a little word.
Yeah, I think Mr. C.D. Rhodes is here and might be able to give us a brief update. I know we spoke about this at the last workshop, and Mr. Rhodes is with lawyer Pope Flynn that helped draft this resolution.
Mayor, Council, good to see you again.
Thank you, sir.
I will keep it very brief and then certainly happy to answer any questions that you might have. As you well know, the town, as a municipality, has the ability to issue what we call tax-exempt debt, meaning that the interest that the bondholder earns off of that debt, off of those bonds, is exempt from federal income taxes. The bondholders then pass that benefit onto the town through a lower interest rate. Billions of dollars in tax-exempt debt are issued all across the country every year, and it saves the town and the taxpayers enormous sums of money, millions and millions of dollars every year. In order to issue that tax-exempt debt, the town has to comply with certain IRS regulations. It's considered to be a federal benefit. And one of those is that you only issue tax-exempt debt when you need it. So what you are doing through this resolution is you are expressing your official intent, if the need arises, to issue bonds to reimburse yourself for costs of your new town hall project. So just practical terms, if you get into the project, you're halfway done, and because of any number of reasons, cash flow constraints, increases in the cost of the project, lots of unforeseen things that could occur, you decide that you really do need to issue bonds, you can issue bonds at that point in time and then reimburse yourself for amounts you've expended up to that point from the proceeds of that bond. This resolution does not authorize the issuance of debt. That would have to be done through an ordinance that would come before you. It doesn't bind you to issue bonds. It just preserves the option for you to issue bonds to finance all or a portion of this project in the future if that need, it does indeed arise. Happy to answer any questions that you might have.
We've done a lot of work on this in the workshop, so this is the first step to hedge. We're basically arbitraging our cash position is what we're doing here.
That's exactly right. It's keeping that option open for you.
Right. Okay, having no other questions, Lisa?
Oh, I did want to add one thing.
Didn't I just vote?
No, you didn't. You looked that way. So just to change, arbitrage and this and that, and, just for those of us that aren't familiar with those terms, I think the best way to look, another way to look at this might be you get that check from the credit card company that might float you for a little bit. Well, instead of throwing it out, we're just keeping it on the table. That's
exactly right.
Arbitrage.
It's the only caveat there is, oftentimes that's a very, very high interest rate. In this case, it would be the lowest possible interest rate that's available for effectively any borrower out there.
Point well made. Thank you.
Just to add a comment, now that the Mayor Pro Tem has brought that up, just to add a comment that would be a wash between interest on our funds in the bank versus pretty much interest on any debt obligation.
Oftentimes that, or at least in this environment with rates where they currently are, that certainly is the case.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you for being here.
Glad to do it. Anytime.
Yep. Okay. With that, Lisa, will you call the roll, please?
Mr. Penfield?
Yes.
Ms. Coleman?
Yes.
Dr. Waldman?
Yes.
Mr. Sickinger?
Yes.
Mayor Daniels?
Yes. Thank you. All right, item B, approval of resolution 25-04 to support instant runoff voting as an alternative method of nominating candidates for determining the results of nonpartisan elections. This is brought to us by Mayor Pro Tem Sickinger, and I will entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Having been appropriately motioned, we'll entertain discussion. Mr. Sickinger?
Yeah, thanks, Mr. Mayor. So this is an issue I care passionately about. As someone that has studied politics from my strict constitutionalist days in high school when I was writing papers about the non-ratification of the 16th Amendment, all the way through college, frustration with the first past the post, like plurality voting method, which is, well, I have to pick the person that is most likely to win that I like the most or dislike the least. And that's always left a little bit of a bitter taste in my mouth, because what it does is it's telling voters not to pick the people that you like the most, but the people who have the chance to win who you like the most. So it's creating a subset of candidates and segregating candidates into potential to win versus no potential to win. In my opinion, the process is broken for that reason. In fact, here in Irmo, we had an election, I guess 7 years ago, where a third candidate ran for mayor, and people were forced to choose between the top 2 candidates that were most likely to win or throwing their vote away on a spoiler candidate. And no vote should ever be considered thrown away. That preference should still be reflected, and they should still have their voice heard. Certainly this will not cost a cost increase if we pass this resolution, and if the State House says municipalities are allowed to do it, and if a municipality decides to move to that kind of election process. Like, in other words, there's a lot of gates between here and there. It can't cause a cost increase because there won't be any runoff elections. So for example, in the city of Columbia, while we don't offer this, the fact of a runoff election where now you have to pick between 2 and have very low voter turnout, that's not really a representation of voters either. At the end of the day, for me, this is about freedom and asking the State House to give municipalities the freedom to choose what type of election they want to have. Whether they want to do 50+1, but in an instant runoff way to avoid a unnecessary runoff election. And the last thing in my mind is that this is an opportunity for the town of Irmo to lead and not follow, where in the past we've allowed other municipalities who are larger or the state, and we've rolled over. In my opinion, this is a reflection of us saying to the State House, the options that you give us are fine, but we'd like municipalities to have the option to choose instant runoff ranked choice voting. The simplest way I can put this, and I'll wrap up with this, is rather than say, this is the candidate that I want, I say, this is the candidate I want most, then this is the candidate I want most after that, and if that person doesn't go, the next person. Or if I were going to a grocery store and I said, what type of ice cream do you want? And you say, well, peppermint bark. And I say, that's really rare. What if they don't have that? You say vanilla. And I say, just in case it's the end of the world, there's no vanilla, then what do you want? Chocolate. Great. Now I'm empowered to go to the grocery store and make sure that I reflect your preference. And you don't just say vanilla because you know that they have it. I yield.
Councilman, you second?
I would like to add that if you've watched politics in general, it can be nasty and it can be ugly. I find an element of this that's attractive is it holds everyone accountable to focus on, as it was mentioned, not personalities or parties, but plans, policies, and programs. And that's, at the end of the day, I believe the point of it. So keeping it clean, I think, is a very attractive aspect.
So
I know I got some comments over here.
you do, and I've talked with Councilman Sickinger and also Nicole, and so I've gotten information about this. I still am not sold, and I've indicated that before. But let me tell you why. You know, of course, you gave a compelling academic argument. But I can't wrap my head around if you change the way I can vote, all of a sudden nastiness is reduced. That's an emotion brought on by something other than the voting process, okay? The arguments that have been brought to me, of course, are by the proponents, where I would like to see more evidence of, and yes, I've been offered, well, in Alaska, I can't even relate to Alaska, it's so far away, right? And I understand somewhere change has to occur, but what I don't or have not been convinced of is that I will see some positive movement of the needle in politics or in who gets in office simply because you say now a process that is not practiced that much already when it's a simple one vote now adds complexity, and now I'm going to show up to do up to 3 votes. You see what I'm saying? So I just need more information. I need to see some evidence of, you know, where this really does do an impact. And not from the persons who are supporting this, but by the people who participated in the process. If I had people come to me saying, you know, I live in town X, and before this, you know, instant runoff voting occurred, it was just a miserable, we just kept getting the bad people in office. But the minute we put that in, we saw improvement. That would be very convincing for me. And so that's where I don't have enough to say, yes, let's change a system that, you know, we just were noted that this, at least this council, is a good council, you know, quote unquote, good council, without having instant runoff voting. So what does that mean? It means maybe something different than the voting process led to that success, if you will, but maybe something else. And so because that something else hasn't been quantified for me, I can't say, oh yeah, well now let's change it and it'll make it all of a sudden better. As for a person saying, oh, I'm gonna choose between the lesser of 2 evils, again, that's a mindset. If maybe if you just came together and voted for the person you really wanted, that would indicate to that person that they have a very strong, you know, chance of winning, maybe not the first time, but the second time. So I just don't see the connection between changing the method of voting and changing the motivation to vote. That's where I get lost. So thought I'd say that.
Counselor?
I'd just like to clarify what this resolution actually is. This is just a resolution asking the state legislature to give us the opportunity to have this as an alternative method. There are currently 3 methods that are allowed for local municipalities. We're just asking that they add this in as a 4th method. We aren't at this point asking to change the way that we vote here in Irmo. It just gives us more choice and more options in the future.
Can I respond to that?
Can we wait until we, because I want to respond again.
We're going to be here a while. Again, I think, Barb, you're in my head, and that's not a good place for you. It's not a good space. We're not making any major changes here. We're acknowledging, if we pass this resolution, we're acknowledging that there's an alternative way to voting. And to be one of any number of, at this point, would be 4 options to do it. But the hurdles to get there are tremendous. We don't run our own elections, first of all. I do know that when we do have a so-called runoff election or anything that has to be done and re-voted on, and we've had that happen here, and we've had to do it again. I mean, the cost of an election can be anywhere for the town, anywhere from $10,000 to $15,000, which doesn't sound like a lot, but it's a chunk of money. And then there's arguments on both sides, and this may be one of the few times I'm sitting in the middle. And both arguments are very valid. but I think it's critical to know that we're not making any substantial change other than to acknowledge that there's another way to do this. Am I convinced? Absolutely not. I'm not convinced that it would make any difference. Do I think it confuses folks? It may, like anything new, it may, but in the long run, it may be worth it. Where I've been convinced to be the middle of the road versus where I was a few months ago, doing my own research and listening to folks, is that, trying to couch this correctly. First of all, the mayor race that you referred to did not involve me. I want that on the record.
Yes.
Second of all, I've been in an election where there was things thrown. There was ugliness thrown. And it's tough. I mean, we're not national political leaders, right? We're here for the better of the local community. And, you know, yes, we go through elections, we get elected, we run to get reelected if we're fortunate enough to do that. But if this is a way that stops some of the ugly mudslinging and the things that happen on Facebook, you know, I don't know. I don't know that this will solve that problem, and it's going to take more, you know, reflection on my part and education. But that's where I am at this point. So I guess, Councilman, you want to?
Yeah. Been all charged up since Councilwoman Phyllis went up. So first of all, thank you. And I want to point out the fact that this council can disagree without being disagreeable. And that civility is really important to me. So I appreciate the fact that even though you disagreed, you're willing to disagree. And I want to hear that. And certainly none of my response is intended, you know, directed to you personally. First, I think it does take a little bit of courage to try something unfamiliar. And my hope is that the majority of council will join me in that courage if they agree. Not to say that it doesn't require courage to vote no, just to be clear. So the one thing that really stuck out to me was voting for the person that you really wanted. And I think that's one of the core things that I see with instant runoff ranked choice voting is that it gives voters the freedom to vote for who they really want without worrying that they are going to cause the person that they like least to win by effectively throwing their vote away. In instant runoff ranked choice voting, what that means is they can still vote for the person they really want, who might only get 3 votes, but still have their opinion of who should win if that person loses, of their preference of who the next person should be. So if I vote for candidate C and candidate C gets 3 votes, well, if I put candidate B next, now candidate B is getting my vote. And that means that my vote is not getting lost just because I voted for who I really wanted in that seat. When we talk about increasing civility, particularly in local elections, like the town of Irmo, you know, I think about things like when we have open council seats and having a lot of people running for that. In many cases, I think voters will look at, or those who are experienced in local politics, may look at a lot of people running and say, well, that's going to split up the vote a whole bunch of different ways. So it's really important that we communicate, we as a constituency group, communicate who our preferred candidates are so that the vote isn't split among people who all, you know, oh, these people are trying to protect green space. These people are trying to do that. Well, if you have multiple candidates, now you have to pick between them versus just ranking them. And so what it does is it allows me to say, look, I want your vote, but also the next person on your list after me should be Gabe, because Gabe is, he works hard for the people, ABC. I'm not actually endorsing you for a future run, just to be clear. Not yet, anyway. And then after Gabe, I want you to put Barb, because I work really well with Barb, and so what it does is it increases people who are saying, basically choose them also, put them higher up on your list. And then what that means is if someone not on this stage, because I don't want to call anyone out on a negative, starts slinging mud and saying nasty things, well, all the other candidates are going to go, well, put him last. And it will encourage people to vote based on their preferences and based on what they hear versus just who has the best chance of winning it that they like the most or dislike the least.
Can I ask a question for clarification? Ranked choice voting doesn't prevent an individual from still casting a single vote, am I right?
That's correct.
Yeah, so if you want to vote for your person and not participate in a ranked choice vote, you can still vote for that one person.
Yeah.
It doesn't prevent you or force you from voting in a different way.
Right. Okay, any other comments? Whit, could you close the door in the back, please? Thank you. Okay, hearing no other comments, Lisa, will you call the roll?
Mr. Penfield?
Yes.
Ms. Coleman?
No.
Dr. Waldman?
Yes.
Mr. Sickinger?
Yes.
Mayor Danielson?
Yes. Resolution passes. Thank you for the spirited debate. This is what democracy is all about. Approval of contract for Jumper Carter Cease Architects to provide architectural engineering service in the amount of $300,000 for the new town hall project. Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Having been appropriately motioned, we'll open for discussion.
I yield. This is a lot.
Yielding?
Yep.
Mayor, you want to?
Sure, we have to. Okay. This is a contract with the above-mentioned architectural firm, and that will cover everything but civil engineering. And in the cost of this $5.8 million town hall we're about to embark on. I want to make sure that folks know that the building cost by itself is not $5.8 million. It's $4.2 million. The other items in the line item are soft costs and all those things. Jumper Carter, I say that just so that people have a pretty good idea of where the money, it includes furniture, it includes everything, right? I mean, that's a turnkey number. The architectural firm has come with us. We're also working with LCK, and I believe Dave Weiler is here from LCK. Thank you, Dave, for being here 2 nights in a row for you. We're gonna start you voting here in Irmo. Keep it up. You know, both of those companies, LCK is a project manager, and Jumper Carter Cease, very well respected. I've had the pleasure of working with them and around them in some of my construction background and project management background. So, you know, I'm very comfortable. I've gone through the contract ad nauseum. I could pick at a few things here and there just to keep Courtney on his toes, but I'm not going to do that because it's all pretty standard fare. So unless anybody else has any other comments.
I just want to point out, of course I do, yeah. And Mayor Pro Tem's got to have his piece as well. I want to point out one thing, which is it looks like, and correct me if I'm wrong, Courtney, but that the payment is it structured through deliverables around like phases, or is it one lump sum?
And I'll let Dave speak to the finer points of that, but from what I remember is there'll be measurements that they have to meet before they paid, and then there'll be a retention as well that we built in there.
Great. Good evening, Council. Dave Deadwire from LCK. Oh, that's right. Should slide.
Yeah.
Better? No?
Which I typed.
There we go.
There you go.
Figured out. Dave Detweiler from LCK. Thank you for the time, Council. Billings are typically monthly, but they are based on milestones and progress against those milestones. In this case, we're already past what we call a schematic phase, and so there's a few milestones, but yeah, we'll monitor all that.
And just to give you an idea, on page 64 of it, I think that's where it's laid out. Design development phase is 25%, construction documents 35%, another phase of construction 23%, closeout 2%. So it is phased.
Thank you.
And just to add some clarity, we engaged with Jumper Carter Seas in phase 1. They were selected after submitting requests for qualifications. So that's how we picked them the first time.
Any other comments? Lisa, will you call the roll?
Mr. Penfield?
Yes.
Ms. Coleman?
Yes.
Dr. Waldman?
Yes.
Mr. Sickinger?
Yes.
Mayor Danielson?
Yes. Thank you, Dave.
We'll get to work.
Okay, item D, approval to close a portion of Carlisle Street on March 22nd, 2025 for the Irmo Cherry Blossom Festival. Brought to us by the staff. Courtney, I would hear a motion first.
So moved.
Second.
All right, haven't been appropriately a motion. Courtney, would you tell us what part of the road's being blocked off, or you can leave that to the chief?
Yes, sir, Mr. Mayor. In speaking with Kimberly, and I think she's still here. So her festival, what she'd like to do is very similar to as in years past, but also include a road closure of Carlisle Street from Columbia Avenue to Lexington Avenue. That portion of Carlisle Street is owned and maintained by the town of Irmo. That's one of the very few roads that isn't folded over to the county for maintenance and whatnot. She will also have a car show going on in the town hall parking lot right outside here. One of the requirements for her road closure will be that she secure 2 police officers to be hired during that event to man those barricades. Obviously, with all the recent activities like New Orleans as an example with vehicle-borne attacks, we want to make sure that road closures are monitored properly. So she's agreed to pay for those officers. And so tonight is just asking for the formal request from council for the road closure. If approved, we will make sure we get it out to the public through our communications that the road will be closed and the duration of that road closure, and making sure that people are notified in advance.
Any questions, comments? Okay. Having heard no other comments or questions, Lisa, will you call the roll?
Mr. Penfield?
Yes.
Ms. Coleman?
Yes.
Dr. Waldman?
Yes.
Mr. Sickinger?
Yes.
Mayor Danielson?
Yes. Thank you, Kim.
Thank you.
Okay, item E, approval to hold the 2025 Irmo Christmas Parade on December 6th, 2025. This is brought to us by the Events Committee. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Haven't been appropriately motioned. We will move to the discussion phase. I would probably go ahead and ask George to come up. And since I'm on the events committee, I know what he's going to say, and I'm going to take this moment to step to the men's room. But you please continue.
Okay, Mayor. Thank you. As discussed during our events committee, we came up and we decided that Mike's not on. I think that's what I'm about. And Irmo probably never had a Christmas parade. And looking at every small town or municipality, they have a Christmas parade in some shape, form, or fashion. So our thing was, why not Irmo? You know, so threw some ideas out, never happened before. I think it'll be a great idea. Councilman Penfield is on it, the mayor is on it. Dr. Waldman has been to almost every meeting discussing. And everybody's happy and they thrilled about doing this here. And I think with the help of Irmo town and Irmo community, we can pull this off, and this can be a very successful event and something we probably can do year after year.
Are you open for questions? I'm sorry, I didn't want to interrupt.
Sure.
So what I don't want to do is have you commit to things that you haven't planned for yet, or have people get upset about things that are just ideas right now. So what can you tell me about location and what it's generally going to look like? Just an understanding of, obviously it's a parade. I got that.
Good question. We try not to reinvent the wheel. We already have a course that's already set up. We're going to use the same format as the orchestra. We're not changing anything else. I think we were going through the process of the road closures, got with Irmo Police Department, and we had to have different areas and stations manned. So basically, there's no change. Instead of the orchestra parade, it's going to just turn it into the Irmo Christmas parade, basically. Any more questions?
So, Councilman Sickinger, just to add some clarity to that, the events committee has stood up a subcommittee. Committee member Chelsea Christensen is leading that subcommittee. Before even bringing this to your vote, they were asked to go out and explore other Christmas parades this last season, which they did, brought back a lot of great ideas. As Chairman Frazier had mentioned, the parade route will look exactly like the Orchestra Parade. We'll run the road closures the exact same. Road closure will start at 8:50. We'll flush the entire road. Parade will start at 9 a.m. With the parade wrapping up before noon. If approved tonight, subsequent things will still need to be approved by council, such as the road closure, once the police department's ready to present that, which we would do pretty quickly to make sure DOT, this being a newer parade for them, to get the DOT permit we would need, because that is a road that we don't control. So we would have to get their approval as well. I don't see any problems with that because they have approved the Overstret for numerous years. And the only other challenge is the CSX rail system, making sure we're able to get the slow orders in place for the Christmas parade. There will be a cost to this, the manpower mainly. There's a lot of roads that access St. Andrews Road. So all of those will again have to be barricaded and manned by police officers. So the town will be looking at some expense for overtime, or if we have to hire outside agencies to help. We will also have to notify all the businesses along St. Andrews Road. There's quite a few that, that concern us sometimes, but as long as we give them enough advance notice, they're able to work through the details, one of them being the urgent care, and a couple other places like Matthias Sandwich Shop and a few other businesses that do rely on that morning business. So again, it would be very similar to Orchestra, limited disruption to traffic being an early Saturday morning. And some of those costs that I had mentioned could be offset by the participation fees. So roughly we could get to a net zero, but there will be some staff overtime involved.
Any other questions, comments? All right. Thank you, George.
Thank you.
Lisa, will you call the roll?
Mr. Penfield?
Yes.
Ms. Coleman?
Humbug. But yes. I couldn't resist it. It's a yes.
Mr. Sickinger?
Yes.
Mayor Daniels?
Yes. Thank you all. Next item up, presentation by citizens. There's nobody signed up. Is for anything. Dave, come on up. Your name and address, please, and you have 3 minutes. You know the drill.
Hi, I'm David Stewart, 101 Glossop Circle. I was aware of the workshop about the new town hall. I didn't go to that meeting. I was aware of the town hall last night and had a conflict or I would have been here. And I may have had my question answered. So since I wasn't here last night, I'm going to ask it now. I see in some of the write-up about the money that's involved and how you're going to finance it. There was some mention in there of getting money from Congress. With everything that's going on in Washington, my question is, do you have the check in hand yet?
The only answer I'll give to you, Dave, is we'll take that offline for you. You know we can't answer those questions right here, but we're working on that, and we're also hedging our bet back to the arbitrage. That's all I'll say on that subject. Thank you for the question. Good question. Anybody else? Anybody? All right. Seeing none? Any open discussion? Not aware of any open discussion, so next item up, executive session. Town council may act on items discussed in the executive session after returning from the executive session. We are going into executive session, legal matter 30-4-70A2, receipt of legal advice relating to a pending, threatened, or potential claim covered by the attorney-client privilege. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second. All right, having been appropriately motioned, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay, we're going into executive session. No action was taken, no votes were taken. At this moment, I will accept a motion to adjourn. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Thank you, folks.